Hello everybody, my name is Monty, I'm the Snuggy Gaming, and today, we're back on Minecraft. Now you may be wondering why I am up on this high pillar in the middle of the night, facing against stuff that is not finished. It's because, while I was away on vacation, not recording anything for YouTube, I was still recording. What was I recording? Minecraft. And in Minecraft, I did a lot of time-lapse, which you'll see in a little bit, but that entails a lot of time-lapse and building and mining and farming, all to build up to this one moment, to unveil it all. See, look, I built these houses. No. But really, I built all this. See, this is the Hobbit house, and I built a nice stairwell, and it connects all the way around. There's a house back there, there's a little shack there, there's a house there, there's another house there. I finally found a desert. We have cactuses over there, and right there is an unfinished house, which will be finished fairly soon. All this entails about 6 hours of work. Actually, not 6 hours, more like 11. I had 6 hours of recording footage that I had done. But at the moment, it looks pretty nice. So, I'm going to show you all the time-lapse footage that I have with me voiceovering it and letting you see how this all came along. And then we'll have like a panoramic shot of it and showing some like more details about it. It took a lot of work, and I'm pretty happy and pretty proud of it, but there's still so much we can do. Should I stare at that Enderman? Evidently, he's too far away. Good. Because I probably don't want him to knock me off here. Hope he's gone. Maybe he teleported over there. There's two over there. Wait, are there... Where did he actually go? This is quite a view from up here. And there are quite many mobs down there. But, alas, let's get into the time-lapse. So when we first start time-lapsing, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build some supports for this platform I built above ground on top of the mountain that the Hobbit house is in. We build the supports out of cobbled deep slate, or brick deep slate, you know what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't take too long. So we connect it to the top, and then we add some supports and some connections. And at the bottom, we add some wood for like a foundation. We also add some deep slate brick stairs, so we can add what is essentially support structure for the actual support itself. Once we do that, we just kind of figure out what my game plan is to do next, which is including like sleeping and getting some more supplies, including mining some deep slate and to try and get some cobble deep slate so I can make polished deep slate and then brick deep slate. We then go looking for some saplings and we figure that out. We mine up and get rid of all the wood I used for like platforming so I could build all of it. Once that's done, we continue to build more support systems and support structures for the platform, just to make sure it all looks nice and works well. Then we focus on putting all the saplings down into those mega spruce tree formations, so we can get a bunch of wood for future builds, which will become apparent later. We placed and moved that sapling. Next, we finished the supports for the bridge. And that takes a lot of spruce wood, so we'll eventually need to get some bone meal, which we have a ton of, and bone meal some trees so we can cut down those trees and then use it for the bridge. I only got 6 bone meal, hoping that would be enough to grow at least 1 or 2 trees, and it was. So this next part is just me literally cutting down trees. The huge spruce trees, and we get well over 2 stacks, I think. 2.5 stacks, something like that. About this time it turns night. But I finish up this tree and then I'm pretty sure I go rest. I also add some torches to prevent some mob spawns. So it turns out I do cut down the 3rd tree. And I had 3.5 stacks of wood after that, which is plenty for what I was doing. Doing a little bit of hopping just to try and get those final segments of wood. It's fighting time. Fight a skeleton and 2 zombies. Use my bow a little bit and get the saplings, and then we go in, kick a villager out, and sleep. Back down we go, and we're gonna replant all the saplings. At some point. Also, we grew this azalea tree, so we can get some more wood from that. We cut down this jungle tree and place some cocoa beans, put all the saplings down, and I put them in certain places so we could get some more podzol. We only have 3 left, so we just kind of put some of the stragglers around. They'll become useful in the future. So finally we start actually focusing on the rest of the bridge supports, and we do that pretty quickly. But we have to like platform out to make sure it all works like it should. So I know I should probably use scaffolding, but I didn't think about it at the time, so I just used wood. So I just used wood. And so we finished this support. We go up, have it all connect, then I'm not exactly sure what we do next. Alright. We start on a house up here. At some point. So we start terraforming and making sure everything is nice and even. And we use jungle wood and deep slate brick stairs for like the design. Get rid of all the jungle wood and I replace it with spruce. We build an outline. Then we fill up the rest of it with jungle wood as we see fit and clear as we see fit. I went for a very spruce, deep slate sort of look. Dark and light. And I think by the end of it, it looked pretty well. Well and good. Go ahead and sleep again. and we get ready for phase 2. Phase 2 of at least building. So we build some railings for our bridge, and we continue working on the house. The house that is on the hill. We cut down a jungle tree, then we bone meal a couple of it, and cut down the big one. We're waiting for the saplings, and then we'll place the saplings and grow it all back. So we have a continued supply of jungle wood. We climb back up the mountain and struggle a bit, especially with that cow being there. And we figure it out, and we finish the rest of the house, or at least the floor and the walls of the house. So I went for a sort of multi-leveled appeal to it, and it'll read across once it's finally done. We mined a tunnel all the way to the end of the mountain, so we can walk through it if we need to. Get the saplings and replace them. We grow that tree, and then we cut it down. And that gives us enough jungle wood to complete what we're doing. We fill the rest of it in with spruce, and we're just kind of making sure it's all looking even and looks nice. Then I start adding the outline of the roof and finish the walls accordingly. We go down and we start cutting down a spruce tree, a small one, or a couple of them, so we can get some more wood and finish up. At this point, it's turning night again, but we work pretty much through the night just to finish this. So at this point, I just decided to redo the base of the floor and make it stone or deep slate stone bricks. So it gives a more in-depth look to it. We come down and we go to sleep. What I mean by like in-depth is give it more appeal, because to me there was too much spruce wood and it all looked too samey, so I figured adding a stone foundation would work well. At this point, we start trading massively with the villagers, get a couple lanterns, and then we're all good. Once we're done, we add torches along the bridge so mobs don't spawn, because that was an issue. And then what we start doing is adding like the little supports so we can add lanterns in the middle. Once this was done, I thought it looked really nice. Now the video footage is pretty fast paced, but when I do the like walkthrough of what we did, or what I did across the trip, it'll all look nice. Because I did a lot of recording for the trip, because I wanted to be productive, even though I wouldn't be voice recording while I was doing it. So I recorded almost 6 hours of content, but it's gonna pretty much be reduced down in size to a little over or a little under an hour. And that's why I'm doing voiceovers now, so we can finish out this without having no sound at all. Because as with, certain things, I was listening to music and that's copyrighted, and there was other people talking, so I wanted to cut all that out but keep the footage and do like a time lapse. So I finally finished the windows and then put everything in the chest that I built, add some doors, jungle doors, and continue working on this house, which includes the roof. This is mostly what we're focusing on right now, is the roof. And I don't know about you, but stairs in Minecraft are kind of tricky to get right sometimes. So I kind of had to redo a bunch of it, and then I added slabs for like a not a cathedral, but like a terraced style roof. I'm sure there's a better word for it, but you know what I mean. It's not all flat. It gets higher in the middle, but up at the front, we got double wide windows, or double tall, and so I wanted that area to be a little taller. Get a bunch of new deep slate and turn it all into deep slate, or deep slate stone bricks. That's what they're called. I keep forgetting and second guessing myself because there's like 8 million different types of stone in Minecraft, and it's hard to remember what each one is. At this point, we're adding the rest of the foundation, and we have to like bridge across to do it. Because again, I didn't have any scaffolding. Now we're on the roof, and we are working on all that. Because there's an extra layer here, I had to try and figure out how to make it all work together and look seamless. So once that was done, it was all nice and dandy. So I added like a peak to the roof, but then decided to change it into actual stairs so it looks more uniform. At this point, we're pretty much done with the house, except for like a couple levels of like roof to make sure it all looks uniform. I like to add a section of the roof that is next to the top part of the wood, so it kind of like expands over the face of the wood, so it gets a better look. I built the campfire, then placed it in the wrong spot and had to break it and then build another one. As we finished the rest of the roof at least, we get more stone bricks, deep slate stone bricks, and we figure a way around to get all the roof complete and nice looking. Finally done with that, we deposit everything and take a look at it, and it looks nice. But there's something missing. So in this part of the video, we go to the Nether. But because my Nether portal was too close to the other one that was far by where my old base used to be, I had to come back out and break it again. So I went back in, and then this is where we started exploring. Except we didn't, because I forgot stuff. I wanted to get some obsidian so I could make a Nether portal in case I got stuck somewhere and I could travel home. So I went right, and I just kind of went that direction, searching for anything I could find. But my goal was to find essentially a bastion or another fortress or anything like that. I also wanted to get a bunch of the Nether wood so I could use it for future builds. I also got the mushrooms, warped fungus and crimson fungus, so I could eventually get trees in the overworld. But at this point, I didn't know how to get them to grow. So I'm in another waste biome, and I am just fighting the mobs, and then going around and searching and seeing what there is. Mining all the quartz I see, and then looking for more quartz, and quartz is the word of the day. We come down to the bottom here, and we're trying to find a way across the land, or across the lava, so we can get to more land, so we continue our exploration. We had to dig pretty much at the lava lakes to do it, and then we built across this lava lake, and continue our trek onward. We mined a lot of magma at the same time, because we had to bridge our way through, and there was a lot of magma in the way. Magma blocks, I should say. We finally get to a clearing, but it's not really a clearing. So we decided to build all the way over and just pray and hope a ghast doesn't shoot us. And you see, I keep looking just in case. Then I pretty much speed bridge to the side, and now we're safe. Relatively speaking, because you know the Nether is never safe. So I came to another gap, and I was trying to figure out a way down so I could get to the bottom part and figure out places to go. So I eventually did, and almost got done in by lava. But I eventually figured it out, killed a bunch of hoglins and piglins and brutes and attackers and whatever you want to say. Then that ghast spawned in front of me, and I mined some bone blocks, and then it disappeared into the lava. Then it reappeared, and I went through a long battle just to try and kill it. Finally killed it, and then continued mining the bone blocks and searching for anything good. Got some gravel and some flint so I could eventually build another portal. Fight with the skeleton, mine up, just try and get to higher ground so we can get a perspective on where we are. It took quite a while, and it took a lot of dipping and dodging because there was a lot of different lava pools to run into. One-shotted that ghast, then took out my shulker box and decided to put it all the important stuff in the shulker box. Find more bone blocks. Almost fell off. It was terrifying. I'm pretty sure there was a couple moments where I was panting really hard because I was like, oh, that was so close. That was so close. Missed a skeleton a bunch of times, but eventually got it. Mine more and more and more bone blocks. Eventually, I'm trying to find my way down and fall and survive with half a heart. And this was one of the moments where I was like, oh. Because I realized just how serious the situation was. Like, if anything touches me, I'm doomed, and there's no way I'm getting my stuff back. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is the Nether Wastes. No, Soul Sand Valley, that's what they're called. Anyway, I'm in the Soul Sand Valley, and I'm still looking for anything useful. Finally get to the Nether Wastes, and just climb and climb and climb. And look, I'm back in the Soul Sand Valley. But accidentally, I end up going back on myself, and end up in a place where I just was. So I had to figure out how to get away from there, so I could find a fortress or a bastion, and just figure out what I'm gonna do. Now we're in the Basalt Deltas, which, to me, is one of the worst biomes in the game, because it's so tricky to navigate. That's kind of the point. At this point, we're still just looking and looking and looking. I hop to this Soul Sand Island, or Soul Soil Island, and eventually find my way down. Very carefully, because I didn't want to repeat what I had done earlier. I mine through some netherrack at a high speed, just trying to find something, and that's where I find it. I find another fortress. There was a blaze shooting at me, so I wanted to get into the fortress without dying and lava to it. And pretty much this whole segment is me just exploring this fortress and killing the mobs within it. And coming close to death a couple times, but not like so close that I was freaked out. But I will say I was still pretty freaked out because I hate the Nether, and, you know, when a bunch of mobs are all charging you at once and they're all powerful and they all hurt, it's bad. At first, I finally got my first Wither skeleton head as I try and build up to get to the Wither. Over the course of this whole time-lapse video, I have been learning to use my shield, and it has saved me in many a time. Burn stuff in the little lava center, and that center is actually kind of where I build the nether portal. But I just go around this fortress and just continue to look and to hunt and to farm. Here I am building the nether portal. And add some flint and steel. And now we have an active portal. Now, we just continue to explore for a little while and figure out what there is. Get some more wither skeletons. Get some nether warts. More wither skeletons, or just one. Down this one corridor. Kill the blazes I see with my bow. And then I come back to the middle and hunt some more. I don't really take too much damage because once I figured out the shield is your best friend, I was using it. I finally go up and continue to look for more chests and for more loot and for more monsters to hit. Once I was done with that, I came back down to the main room and hunted one more, and then I left. I'm back in the overworld, and I marked the portal, which I'll probably never ever be back to, and I went in the direction of home. Now I'm going to remain quiet for this last section and just let you listen to the nice music. We finally get home, and we're running towards our bridge because I have goals in mind and I am going to complete them. Pretty much the first thing I do is get a bunch of wood so I can create trapdoors and add it to my buildings to add some like texture. Because I see a lot of like hardcore YouTubers and whatnot do this for texturing on their buildings, and I wanted to do that and replicate it for my building. So now I'm adding an outline to the house on the hill that I never showed me building because I started recording after I had built that. So I wanted a path all the way around that house so the villagers could get around it without falling off and without it being too tricky. And for me, myself, I wanted to be able to circulate all the way around without too much issue. So I did most of it out of stone bricks, and I used cobblestone walls for railings. Added some torches. And then now what I do is I start adding some supports to the underside of the cobblestone pathway. And I use smooth stone and stone or cobblestone fences just to make it all look nice. By the time it's all done, it was very nice. I didn't have a rhyme or reason to where I placed them. I just placed these support pillars in a place where I figured there'd be a lot of stress on the structure, air quotes there, on the structure, so I wanted to make sure it was all nice and supported, so it looks nice, but is also functional. Go to sleep, and continue working on the other side towards the front, where the sheep pen is, which, honestly, I eventually ended up getting rid of. Because the sheep are right above the hobbit hole, or the hobbit house, and they're loud. So, they were only there so I could farm up different colored wool so I could get more villagers, and the like. So I'm continuing to build more pillars. Once I'm finally done with that, I just kind of add in a couple places so it all connects together using smooth stone. Once we're done with that, I add 2 trapdoors as like a support pillar for the roof. I don't know if it looks really that good. So add more trapdoors to this barn I made, which eventually will be turned into like a villager hut. But at the moment it was a barn because there were sheep. So now I add trapdoors all around this house on the hill. And that takes a lot of like bridging and trial and error to get there, but the final appearance is worth it. Mine all this netherwort, replace it, because for some reason I thought netherwort blocks were how you grew nether trees, but that's not how it is at all. So I messed with that for a little bit and then realized I'm done. So I added a cactus farm because I went searching and searching and searching and searching for a desert. Like, I had gone 26,000 blocks one direction just looking for a desert. I had gone almost every single direction looking for a desert, and I was just hoping to find one, and I finally found one. So I robbed it of its contents and I brought it back home. So that's how I have cactuses. I thought I had been recording that whole section where I was looting like a desert or exploring for it, but actually I wasn't. So at this point, what we're now doing is we're adding a bridge from the back of the Hobbit house, and we're bridging all the way to the top so the villagers can get up and down without falling, and so can I. We build most of it out of smooth stone slabs, which honestly, I like the appearance, but it took a lot of smelting and whatnot to get it all to look like it should. And then once I have laid the foundation, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a whole bunch of supports. Got some stone slabs and some stone stairs, or stone brick stairs, and started to go to town on the railings. It wasn't super hard to do, it was just kind of tricky. Because I designed the bridge in such a way that it's a half slab each step you take. So I had to make the intervals where stone bricks and like stone slabs and fences could all connect to the underside without there being a gap. So for like each section always had to be an even number. So I couldn't have 3 sections going upwards. I had to have 4 or 2, if that makes sense. Get this all done, and I make it all look nice, and then I add some torches so stuff doesn't spawn. Realized I ran out of beds, so I couldn't sleep. So I went to the library, which is what I am tentatively, that's the word, tentatively calling this house that I'm in now the library. Get rid of the trapdoors so villagers can go up and down. And you can see I have quite the villager surplus there. So my next goal is I start trading a ton of glass panes with the cartographer to get many emeralds so I can trade them into more stuff. And I'll move the cartographers up there. I continue just trying to farm and trying to work and search for the cartographers I have and reorient the villagers so they're not all crowded in one room. Put a blast furnace there and the other cartography stand. Put a loom. Honestly, most of this stuff moves anyway. At this point, I go like to the I don't know how to describe it. I go a direction, in other words. And I find this huge cave and I start mining it. Well, in this cave, it's under a mountain and there's deep dark down there. And I didn't go into the deep dark because I wanted to record it with commentary. So I can like be terrified and whatnot and not disturb people. If that makes sense. So I'm going around shooting mobs, lighting torches, mining diamonds, the likes. It takes a while, but I end up with a good haul. And almost no more torches, or no more arrows or torches or anything like that. There's a couple times when I was down here that the mobs got kind of wild, and I thought there might be a potential that I could die. And I didn't want to, because I'm sitting on 35 levels, and I don't know about you, but 35 levels lost is kind of a sad thing. At the very beginning of like this cave exploration, right as I was going down to this lava lake, I was like audibly freaking out, even though there was people around, because there were 7 creepers all in one section, and 5 of them were targeting me at the same time. I don't know about you, but I don't want to deal with that, so I freaked out and ran, and then picked them off one by one. And those little baby zombies, too, are terrifying when there's more than one. Especially if one of them has a sword or a shovel, because those hurt. I fell in most of the lava lake and mined up to get this diamond, which turned out to be just one. So it was kind of pointless to do that, but I wasn't going to leave a diamond. Mining gold, mining redstone, mining lapis, pretty much any of the ores I can find, because with all my trading and whatnot, I had pretty much run out of iron and gold. I had plenty of lapis and diamonds and redstone, but the whole point of doing this was to find more diamonds and like more of the essentials. And there was no way I was going into that deep dark, even though I kept looking at it because I kind of wanted to. But I even get sort of close to it, like, should I go in there? Should I not? Should I go in there? And I just ultimately decided no. I'll save that for like a dedicated video where I can record myself speaking and screaming and hollering, because you know that's what's going to happen. Deep Dark is terrifying. In a separate world, I've gone to a Deep Dark and creative and been freaked out. So that should tell you all you need to know. Continuing to mine and find any diamonds I can and mine them, and by the end of it, we have a stack and a half of diamonds, which is plenty for anything I need to do. But so the search goes on. Keep looking for diamonds, and keep looking for essentials. The good thing about this cave is it's not necessarily that far away from where my base is, so I can go back and mine it at some point, get more essentials, and go to the Deep Dark, because I don't know if there's an ancient city down here, but it's a pretty big area, so I'm assuming there is going to be. And the time of being in this cave, I went through almost 4 stacks of arrows. That should tell you how many mobs there were. I see more diamonds, more spiders, almost looked an Enderman in the eyes, and just kept going. There were actually a bunch of Endermen down there, and I thought about farming them, and then a little baby zombie with a shovel, came and attacked me, but he didn't do much damage. Because by this point, I was using my shield and using it to my advantage. I also don't know if this is true or not, but it seemed like there were so many diamonds in this spruce-like area. So I was wondering if they had spawned. Do they spawn more often under like spruce biomes and such, like a spruce mountain, taiga, tundra, etc., etc. But I don't know. At this point, I towered up because there was a lot of things coming at me all at once, and I didn't want to die. And my shield was dead, so I especially didn't want to go in there without a shield. Repaired my shield, or built a new one, essentially, and there we go. Continue the fight, get all the diamonds we can, and then we eventually leave. We fill out more of the land with torches, and hopefully the next time we come down here, which will probably be pretty soon, there will be less mobs to deal with from the get-go. There were so many mobs coming at me all at once at some points in this time-lapse that it was crazy. And by this point, I knew dinner was coming up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend some more time down here getting a couple more diamonds, and I'm fleeing, and you can't stop me. There were so many diamonds. I had never seen so many diamonds just exposed like that. But I appreciated it because it was a lot of freaking diamonds. And diamonds are always good to have. Maybe I'll make my future beacon out of diamonds. And no, I'm not gonna make it out of netherite. Plus, it probably isn't as cool if I were to do that in the first place and not hardcore. Like, I would get major props for doing it in survival mode just to begin with, but I've seen people do it in hardcore, so yeah, there. And plus, I don't know how long it takes, but I don't want to dedicate that much of my life just to mining a single ore, just to get one beacon that would be the same amount of usefulness as a diamond one. We are almost down in the cape. Almost. Very almost. Much well. Very almost and much well. And more torches. Fight this spider. Fight that skeleton. And here we go. We're free. Now in this section, what we're doing is we're building stairs out of the back of the villager, like, bedroom. So they can get up the stairs and go to, like, the job sites and whatnot, and not crowd up that room as much, because one entrance and one exit, and there's like 15 villagers all in one room. It's not good, because they will just, like, form a bundle, and none of them will ever do anything. So I figured the more ways we can let them out, the more efficient they will be. Because, you know, their AI is not super genius. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I used stone bricks for this. I don't know why I started out with sandstone stairs, but I changed up halfway through. And I actually, even though it is a bit uncohesive, that's not a word, but you know, I still like it, because you've gotta change up the style every now and then. If everything was stone brick and stone deep slate and whatever else, it's all gonna look too samey. So I'm adding the supports now. More more and more and more cobblestone walls. Destroy this iron golem who's in the way. Then I go back up. I'm trying to fill up anything in the way and make it all look nice. Use mostly like stone bricks for that. And then I search for a bed so I can go to sleep. And a bamboo door. I actually extremely like the bamboo door. Kick a baby out of the bed, go to sleep, deposit some stuff, get more stone, deep slate stone bricks, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a house. This house is going to be pretty much floating over the ground. So it's going to be connected to the bridge, and then it's going to be like pillared to the floor, so it is supported. So we use the base out of deep slate stone bricks, then do an outline of regular stone bricks, and most of the design is like brick, actual bricks, clay bricks, stone bricks, deep slate stone bricks, a couple, I think I used wood, and various other things. So at this point, I think I was just on the hunt for more deep slate, or a couple of deep slate, so I could add more deep slate. So I go outside and I start mining trees again, so I can get it all ready for supports and for any of the design features I want for the house. I destroy this mushroom, get a bunch of mushrooms, destroy this tree. I started doing like the stair step for the first couple trees, but then I just don't like doing that. So even though you mine more wood when you build under yourself with wood, I like that better because it seems like to me it's more cohesive and quicker to complete. So mine that tree, get the saplings, plant some mushrooms, some mushies. I go back in and I go to bed. Only slightly after getting boxed out by a monster and a villager. Mine this mushroom, place some more trees so we can get some more puzzle. And yeah, it's all starting to look up and look nice. Get all the saplings we can and place more trees. More and more and more trees. I think at this point, I was pretty much done with mining trees, so the next thing I did was build supports. And that took up a good deal of time. So I used the same philosophy for like the actual bridge. I used it out of wood and then added like stone support columns, or like support connectors, I guess. And then I have this stone brick to connect to each actual pillar, so just for more like support and whatnot. I know I'm not doing the most fantastic job of describing it, but it's hard for me to like remember exactly what I did many days after I recorded this. So I did a lot of pillaring around and like very carefully mining around just to make sure everything was connected. I have this whole support feature in the middle where all the supports are connected by stone, brick, fences, and then I add it's almost like footers, that's what it's called, at least on the ground. I add footers around so it looks nice and supported. This doesn't take too long, but I also had to go to bed again after slightly murdering an iron golem. Back to more pillaring to make a pillar. So it really is pillaring, isn't it? Once we're done with that, add some footers, make sure everything looks nice and like industrialized. Because it doesn't make sense to have like supports, at least for me, supports that aren't connected to anything in the ground. Because that's pretty much how all supports in real life work. You have to connect it to something in the ground so it doesn't sway and it doesn't move or topple or anything like that. So that's what I did. So I finally go back upstairs and I start doing the outline of the house. But I used stripped spruce logs for like the outline, and I think overall it looks better. Because at this point, it definitely is a different look than some of the other buildings in the general vicinity. I'm still using spruce, but it's a different texture, it's a different color, so it's not too samey, at least in my opinion. Especially when we add the windows and bricks. It looks really nice when it's finished, but hey, it takes a while to build. So I also wanted a little garden here, and so to do that, I figured I'd get some grass to grow over here. But eventually I nixed that idea. In this section, we pretty much finish up this one house. We have to mine away the azalea tree we planted because it was interfering, but I eventually do replant it. I wanted to go again for like a very slanted terraced look, so that's exactly what I did. It just takes some finagling to get it right, to get it to do what I want it to. But it works. As soon as I get it finished, I took a step back and looked at it and I was like, yeah, that looks nice. I fell and had a heart left, and I immediately ran because I wasn't sure if something was going to shoot me or not. And I also, again, don't want to lose 40 levels. That would suck. So I'm continuing to like build the roof and the frame at the same time, so it all works together like seamlessly. Once that is done, continue to build like the roof, finish out any of the sections that aren't done, and make sure it's like overlapping the base or like overlapping the wall 1, so it looks like a house should. Because there's not very many houses out there in this world that don't have like gutters alongside the house and don't have the roof overlap the actual interior of the house at least a little bit. So on the inside, I start using stripped spruce logs to like continue the theme the whole way around. I decided to use deep slate stone bricks for the design and used some actual bricks for more of the design. This section I'm put on the roof is for a chandelier. Because, maybe I want to swing from it. Fill in all the gaps. And now it's time for the brick laying. Because literally I'm laying bricks. Get some glass. Get a campfire so I can add another, smokestack to the roof. So it, ties in the theme. Add some glass. All the glass. And then add 2 lanterns. I didn't have the glowstone for like the other parts of it, but I was eventually going to do that. And I did eventually do it. But the next thing I decided to do is I wanted to actually build a balcony. So I used brick slabs and did that. Then I realized it was a layer too tall, so I lowered it a layer and rebuilt it. And now the stone bricks and whatnot, or any of the fences I use, all connect. It's a very shallow pillar, and it's connected to the roof, and there's not really pillars that connect to the floor, but hey, it works. Mind these azalea trees, or at least one of them. I get some oak trapdoors and spruce trapdoors so I can do up the outside and make it look more 3D and more textured. And that's what I'm doing right now. But I sort of, maybe, kind of ran out of oak. So I eventually just had to get more. And I don't know why I put that azalea all the way at the end, but I did. And, oh well. In this section, we finally finish up the rest of this house. But we have to mine some trees first. Is it technically mining, or is it chopping down trees? Replace all the nether wart, put it up, get some bone meal, and get everything situated. Go to sleep in our new balcony, get more trapdoors, and add the trapdoors on the outside. And bone meal these azaleas so it actually looks nice. So I decided I actually wanted to move the chandelier a little further out. So that's what I did. And now time to pillar to get the campfire in the roof so it actually looks like a smokestack or a chimney. And also trapdoors everywhere. Trapdoors everywhere and everywhere. And you know what I'm gonna say next? And everywhere. By the time we're done with that, we were out of building blocks, so I used the brick slabs. I don't even know why, but once it all is all done, it looks so nice. And this is where I put the campfire for a smokestack. I keep calling it a smokestack, but it's a chimney. Rescue that villager. And replace the glowstone that broke. And at this point, I start moving some of the villagers and some of their shops and whatnot, and do some various other nitpicky things. I wanted a spruce tree, but I also wanted to grow out the moss area. So I took a bunch of bone meal and started going to town on it. By the time it was all done, I feel like it looked very, very swell. Add a couple in the sheep pen. Rescued that villager. And maybe kill or murderize the sheep that got away. At this point, I decided to add some more lights and more things around, so we had less mobs. But this led into a little more than I thought it would be, or would entail, and that is adding lampshades or actual lanterns like a street light, essentially. Like a street light all the way around the whole mountain and various other places where there needed to be light. So that's exactly what I started doing. This wasn't super tedious, but it was still kind of tedious. But the final look was very nice. So I keep just adding some, using stone slabs or brick slabs for like the archway or the tie-in to keep it all together. And I add one all the way around the stone outline, the stone brick outline, or essentially what is, I guess, a bridge. That's pretty much what it is. It's a bridge. But I think the whole look of it is very nice. I added some to the actual stair bridge in the back. That azalea tree helped me there. Continuing all the way around, we're back at the front. Now we go down and add some more at the front, and then we start adding some like support sections on the actual supports for lanterns. So it actually looks like they were designed to do that. Once it's all done, it's very nice. Fight some mobs. Then at this point, I decided to do more support work, but only really for the bridge. And this included using bricks for like the footer. It took some like tediousness to get it all sorted out, but once I did it, it was nice looking. So that's essentially what I did for this section. Most of this has just been like tidying up or spiffing up everything so it looks like it was designed by an engineer. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I feel like what I did does help tie in the world a little more. Now, I don't exactly know why I added these like little hops along the bridge, but I like it, so I'm keeping it. And you can't stop me. Now, at this point, for some reason I decided to add an actual like pathway that leads under the bridge and will lead to where all like the moss and the azaleas are. I think I don't know what I'm gonna plan for in the future, but it might be the idea of expanding the village more so it looks like the village was always there to begin with, and the mountain was just kind of like separating the two villages. I think it could be a cool look, but I'm not sure what I would do with that section at the moment. I mean, there's not much to say about this pathing, because I'm literally just smacking a shovel at the ground and making it a path. But we're not far from our end result. Go down this hill just a little bit. Use some water to get rid of all the grass so I can do the paths without having to mow grass first. And there we go. Bring some more of that. Get the azaleas and the bone meal and start going to town. I actually sort of like how the azalea or the moss looks against the regular grass. It adds more 3D-ishness to it and more difference. Because pretty much all the grass is all the same color no matter where you go. So having a slightly different color just adds more texture and more beauty to it. And you can fight me over that. So once I finished that, I pretty much came back inside, kicked a villager away, and slept. And then murderized this golem. Golem? Yeah. I'm a golem. It's literally a golem. Man. What I'm doing here is I want the villagers to pretty much stay safe and contained in this whole like centralized hub on the mountain, so that's what I do. And at this point, that is all I did in Minecraft. Now that's not everything I did in Minecraft, but it's most of it. And it took quite a while to do all of it. Like I said, about 6 hours, but I think the overall result is going to be worth it. Isn't it fantastic? I won't say I'm like the best builder in the world, but hey, I tried a lot harder than I ever have in Minecraft before, and I think if you ignore that one building over there that isn't finished, and maybe like some of the not natural-ish lookingness over there, this looks pretty amazing, at least in my eyes. Of course, there are still things I'm going to do to like spiffy it up, but we are what, 25 episodes in, and this is the first time I've done anything close to as produced as this, and as time consuming as this, and it shows me how far I came, because just down there used to be our starter base. And I mean, it was an okay house. Like it was a house. But the design of it was pretty bad. And like that is bad, that's bad, that was incomplete. I think I'll probably get rid of all of this at some point, or change it into something else. Like it could be all the farmland. I never finished that bridge over there. But this will not be the last episode of Minecraft. So I am looking forward to the future of this series and to see what my hand can make and what your suggestions for future things I should do in this world should be. But until then, I'm Monty, and this is Norbia Gaming. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey y'all, thank you so much for watching. Send me a like or a sub if you enjoyed this content. You can also find me on Discord at Norga's Empire, and there's a link there, and TikTok at Monty Creates. I really hope you enjoyed this content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.